Yo, what's up, crazies and weirdos? You're probably one of those if you've been attracted on here, but here, no worries, you're very much welcome. And if you're curious about the content of this channel, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn the notification bell on. I'm here today at Le Louvre, a high place of culture, the biggest museum in the world actually, where thousands of artists are exhibited today. Some might have been considered as crazy and been marginalized at their time. Yes, indeed, we're kind of going to talk about culture, but a very specific one you really heard about, the queer culture. What does it take to be considered as queer, and is there like a path between queerness and mainstream? That's the question I want to ask today. If you want to watch further, don't hesitate to put a like. I'm Johannes Scott, right? You're watching my brand new channel, Queerzy. Let's put a little bit of contextualization. The word queer appears apparently, well, according to Wikipedia, in 1953 in the novel of this guy called William Burroughs. He was actually talking about his homosexuality at the time. It's not before the 80s that the movement started to amplify and invite more people, the kind of people that felt excluded by the cisgender heteronormative straitjacket. Since then, the movement has been theorized. The first school of interpretation interprets the movement as complementary to feminism. Indeed, it's complementary to feminism in the sense it's fighting the cisgender heteronormative patriarchy. Second approach, which seems less precise, but I kind of like it though, perceive the queer people just like the people that refuse to be labeled. Although I like the second approach, I kind of have a problem with it. If a movement starts to include everybody, doesn't it become mainstream, which to me seems opposite to queer? Think about it. Indeed, the positioning of being open-minded, refusing labels is quite trendy, and like 3/4 of the people you meet will perceive themselves like open-minded, refusing labels. So as everyone become queer, I prefer a personal, maybe more personal approach that you might validate. I still prefer to perceive the queers as the people that are still marginalized by this society and that have to find some kind of creativity to actually exist. Today the movement has produced tons of art, music and culture in general. The movement has indeed created a lot of trends that have been accepted then by the mainstream, and these days, who wouldn't claim they're unique, unconventional, don't like labels, and just like to be free to experience whatever they like sexually? One question is still itching me. Do you have to be part of a marginalized group to feel queer? If you ask me what would I include in the queers, I would tend to include LGBTQI people. Well, weirdly, in LGBT there's the Q for queer. Well, I would rather include LGBT inside the queers, people that are excluded by the mainstream because of their sexuality. This being said, I haven't finished my argumentation, so let me unfold a little bit more. The question is, hasn't all and most LGBT movement ended up in success, and are still gays of all class discriminated after having experienced rejection and discrimination almost all my life in the workplace and in housing? I kind of understood that my profile was disturbing and that I was not going to be mainstream. I had to implement strategies, like rather creative ones, to feel like I could have a place in this world. Basically, I started to meet this bunch of people that couldn't cope with the world the way it is, and felt like I could identify to them. I was not only gay, I was also queer, and I'll tell you a bit further why I don't include the gays into the queer necessarily. The LGBT movement has succeeded in many causes, in many campaigns. Are you at the same stage of acceptance in your struggle when you're a colored trans woman or when you're a gay white male? Economically comfortable and politically heard by the whole society. Can you claim that you're marginalized when you actually have access to most of the existing structures? Just try to work with the facts. This being said, you see how difficult is the notion. So far we've seen that the queers are capable to create trends, and that's what they do most of the time, to the point these trends become mainstream. We've seen that some groups in the LGBT have succeeded in their fights and their campaigns to the point of being just regular in the mainstream. So what is left there for the queers? Should we just resign on the fact that we kind of diluted the notion? If we don't want to lose this notion, we should probably agree on one definition. The one I propose is group of free-spirited people that fight the cisgender heteronormative society creatively. I am Jonas Cartwright. You were watching my brand new channel QUEERVLOG. Don't hesitate to subscribe, put a like if you watch until then, and I'll see you in another video. Mwah.